Cristiano Ronaldo has beaten defenders, broken records, won Champions Leagues, lifted international trophies, scored more goals than almost anyone in football history. But now, at 41 years old, he has finally met an opponent that no amount of training can defeat. Not Spain, not Argentina, not France. Time. And time never loses. Because for the first time in his legendary career, the biggest question surrounding Cristiano Ronaldo isn't whether he can score. It's whether Portugal has become a better team without him leading the attack. That is one of the hardest conversations football has ever had. The weight of greatness. Legends don't disappear overnight. Their decline is much quieter. It begins with tiny moments that most people never notice. A run that's slightly slower. A pass that arrives a second too late. A movement that once created magic now creates hesitation. Cristiano Ronaldo built his career by refusing to accept limits. Every challenge became motivation. Every criticism became fuel. He transformed discipline into an art form. For nearly 2 decades, whenever Portugal needed a hero, there was only one name: Cristiano Ronaldo. He carried expectations that would have crushed most players. And somehow, he kept delivering. But football has one rule that nobody escapes. No player outruns time forever. The illusion of the goal. Against Croatia, Ronaldo scored. The headlines celebrated another record. Another World Cup milestone. Another reminder of his incredible career. But football often hides uncomfortable truths behind statistics. Because one penalty cannot explain 90 minutes. Before converting from the spot, Ronaldo had barely influenced Portugal's attack. Touches inside the penalty area were almost non-existent. The movement that once terrified defenders had become predictable. Portugal's midfield kept searching for connections that never came. The game wasn't flowing through its greatest star anymore. It was flowing around him. And that's the cruel reality elite athletes eventually face. Sometimes the scoreboard tells one story. The performance tells another. When the game changed, then everything changed. Roberto Martinez made the decision almost nobody wanted to discuss. Cristiano Ronaldo left the field. For years, that moment would have weakened Portugal. This time, something different happened. Goncalo Ramos entered. Suddenly the attack moved faster. Runs became sharper. Spaces opened. The front line became unpredictable again. Then, in stoppage time, the breakthrough arrived. A decisive header. Victory for Portugal. Not because Ronaldo failed, but because football had evolved. The game demanded something different. Sometimes a team doesn't become stronger because a legend plays. Sometimes it becomes stronger because new energy enters the match. That is one of football's most painful truths. The hardest opponent. Defenders can be beaten. Critics can be silenced. Records can be broken. But time never negotiates. Every great athlete eventually reaches a moment where experience is no longer enough to overcome physical decline. This isn't weakness. It's reality. The greatest champions understand that legacy isn't built only through dominance. It's also built through adaptation. Can you change your role? Can you help others shine? Can you lead even when you're no longer the fastest player on the pitch? Those questions define the final chapter of every sporting legend. And now, they define Cristiano Ronaldo's career. Portugal's impossible decision. Portugal now stands at a crossroads. Ahead lies another massive challenge. Not simply winning matches, but making the hardest decision in football. Do you trust the greatest player your nation has ever produced? Or do you choose the player who gives your team the best chance to win today? There is no easy answer. One decision protects history. The other protects the future. Managers don't just manage tactics. They manage emotions. They manage legends. They manage entire nations. Roberto Martinez knows every lineup decision now carries enormous consequences. Because replacing Cristiano Ronaldo isn't simply changing a striker. It's changing an era. Football celebrates goals. It celebrates trophies. It celebrates records. But the greatest stories are rarely about victory alone. They're about transformation. Cristiano Ronaldo has already conquered football. He has inspired generations. Broken records many believed would never fall. Built one of the greatest careers sport has ever witnessed. Now another challenge waits. Not winning another Ballon d'Or. Not scoring another 100 goals. Not proving doubters wrong. His greatest challenge is accepting that greatness changes. That leadership evolves. That legacy isn't measured only by the goals you score, but by the future you help create. Perhaps Portugal's next World Cup hero won't replace Cristiano Ronaldo. Perhaps that hero will exist because Cristiano Ronaldo showed him the standard. Because every legend eventually reaches a moment when football asks one final question. Can you let the game move forward while your legacy remains forever? Cristiano Ronaldo has spent his entire career defeating opponents. But now, he faces the only opponent that defeats everyone: time. And how he responds to that challenge may become the greatest chapter of his remarkable story.